For BWYellowJackets.com, I'm Brendan Gulick with our new volleyball coach, Kacie Ehinger. We are thrilled to have her here at BW as the Yellow Jackets are right now in the heart of their off season, getting ready for a lot to come here over the summer and then diving in the fall. Welcome, and thanks for taking some time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's start with your journey here. It's been kind of all over the place, right? You've been in a lot of different places. You're an Adrian College grad, but come to us here from another local Northeast Ohio school.
Yeah, so I played at Adrian College, Division III school in Southeast Michigan. I was there for 5 years, actually had a redshirt year in there, so I was able to be a part of the program for 5 years. And in my 5 years there, I kind of realized I really wanted to be a coach. I didn't want to give up volleyball. I wanted to stay involved. So after graduating, I hooked up with who is now the current head coach at Adrian College. He was at Defiance College and gave me a grad assistant position there, and was able to go there for 2 years and kind of be the only assistant on staff and kind of learn there. And then from there went back to Adrian College just for one season, did some stuff there, and then went over to Siena Heights, which is also in Adrian, and spent a season there. During all that time I was coaching club at Premier Academy in Maumee, Ohio, and the owner and director there was able to hook me up with who was just my former boss at Akron right now. He was at a school in New York called Marist College, and I was able to go out there with him for 3 years and kind of help him build that program a little bit. He was already on a good path, and we took it to the next level, and we won the MAC with 2 A's.
That's right.
The Metro American Athletic Conference. We won the regular season. We were co-champs my final year there. And from there I went to Lamar University down in Texas, another Division I school in the Southland Conference, and was able to be there for pretty much a calendar year. And then my boss from New York got the job at the University of Akron, which is where I've been for the past 4 years. And being from Southeast Michigan and Akron only being 2.5 hours away, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to come back and work with him again. He's great. I learned a lot from him, and it was kind of just a no-brainer to become close to family again. So,
well, it's great to have you, and I'm curious. D3 is obviously in your blood. You go to school there. Those who are in Division III in a lot of ways tend to fall in love with it. But your experiences at Division I and in NAIA, how did that help you maybe reinvigorate your passion or your love to want to be a head coach at Division III?
I think, being at the different levels, I've seen just different ways of going about things. So I've learned, different techniques to do things recruiting-wise and different ways to get kids. And, obviously having the money to give was nice, but I feel like at the Division III level, you just have such a more balanced person. We only get 16 days in the spring, and it's really nice to let them be a little bit more well-rounded, get better internships and stuff like that, so they're more prepared when they're leaving school. And I think that's kind of what draws me here. There's a good family atmosphere. You got athletes supporting athletes and coaches doing game day management, so they're supporting the other coaches, and it's just kind of what made me fall in love with Division III and why I think I was drawn back to this level.
You inherit a pretty young roster, and yet a roster that has had a lot of success the last couple of years, despite the fact that they're young. Nobody would look at this team and say that they're inexperienced. You graduate one senior, and you walk right into a Division III conference that is very, very competitive.
Yeah.
What excites you most about that particular challenge?
I think the experience is what excites me most. I've met with a lot of the girls over the past week, and they've kind of continually talked about what they want, and they have this group chat, and it's called Ring Chasers, and that's kind of where they're communicating with each other. And they didn't really have somebody here forcing them to do anything all spring, and I've heard from various coaches on staff that they were in the weight room doing those things, and they did those individual practices even though I wasn't here telling them they had to do that they were doing those things, and they're ready in their prime. And I had a few conversations with a few of them about, well, we missed our spring season, and I keep telling them, you have 18 returners. The only thing that's really that new is going to be me and a couple incoming kids. It's not going to be a big class of incoming kids, and you're not having to learn 18 different personalities. You only have to learn my different terminology. You're not having to learn a different stuff, so they're in a really good place with that. And of those 18 people, a lot of them had significant playing time. We have all Taylor Brown is an all
All OAC.
Yes. Taylor Brown is an all OAC performer. We have Sarah Reinhardt, who was, honorable mention. We have a kid coming back from injury who was all OAC the year before. So they have a lot of experience and a lot of talent, and I think that just kind of really excites me that they have that much coming back and they were that good and they were right there. They beat Ohio Northern during the regular season, eventually lost them in the tournament, but I think that they're right there and they're ready and they have the mindset that they want to do that.
Well, there's no doubt this team showed some real flashes of being at an upper echelon team in Division III. You referenced that it's not going to be a big incoming class, but certainly we're in the heart of recruiting season right now. Whether it's your direct message to recruits or not, what are you looking for in a student athlete here when someone either approaches you or when you are looking for incoming talent?
Yeah, I want a well-rounded person. They're not just kind of specialized. I'm okay with people being multi-sport athletes. I'm okay with playing different positions. I want them to be a little more well-rounded. I want them to be able to pass. I want them to be able to set. I want them to be able to hit. I'm not saying I don't want specific positions, but I want a more well-rounded athlete. When I'm out looking at kids, I really kind of pay attention to the intangible stuff. How do they react when a mistake happens? Do they hide themselves? Do they own it? What do they do on the next ball? If a teammate does that, how do they react and how do they help them? I'm really big on culture and kind of holding your teammates accountable and helping your teammates out when they're down. So I kind of really look at that intangible stuff.
Awesome. It's fun to see this group in particular because I get the impression that they really click well with each other, and I'm excited to see what kind of new talent we bring in here this year. I always ask coaches this when I have a chance to talk to them for the first time on camera like this. When did you first fall in love with the game? What grabbed you? What's that lasting memory that you have where you realized, wow, I love this game?
Yeah, so I have two older sisters, and they are 10 and 8 years older than me. So I was that little sister running around the gym at their high school tournaments and at their high school games. And back in the 90s in Michigan, volleyball was played in the winter, so there was a lot of tournaments, and then they would go right into their club seasons, and I was kind of always around the game. And I think I just kind of fell in love with it then. They let me be the ball girl, and then I would sing the national anthem at their games, and I did stats. I think when I truly fell in love with it though was probably around 7th or 8th grade. I had the opportunity, my high school, who ended up being my high school coach, kind of let me and another girl kind of be the managers of the varsity team. Her older sister was on the team, and we would go to all their tournaments and do all that stuff and do the stats. And I think that at that point I fell in love with all aspects of the game because I was, seeing him behind the scenes and doing that. And oddly enough, he ended up being my college coach as well. So I learned a lot from him, and I kind of think it was a process of falling in love with it. And I think, I gave up softball in the 10th grade, after 10th grade, and kind of just focused on volleyball. And I think at that point it was okay, I really know this is what I want to do. I want to go to college and do this. And then, like I said earlier, I knew as soon as I was in college I wanted to be a coach. So. Sure.
It's fun when you find something that really grabs you and you just sort of gravitate toward it, and you can't really ever lose that passion.
Yeah.
As you look at, perhaps the way you want to schedule, what your OAC schedule is going to look like. It's really tough. There's a lot of schools with some serious tradition in this conference at Division III. Are you more interested, or are you open-minded to different tournaments, different schools in the region? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I've put a lot of thought about that. I've talked to the girls a little bit, and they felt like they wanted to be challenged a little bit more. Moving forward in the next couple years, I would like to play a couple more of those regional powers. I think there are some really good conferences. The OAC is an upper echelon in volleyball, but I feel like, the MIAA has Hope and Calvin that are really good, and even Alma right behind them, which is not far distance. We have the HCAC also in region, and the NCAC that have, Wits, a powerhouse in the nation. They've won some national championships, so I would like to challenge them a little more in the non-conference because I feel like that will get us more prepared for, the top teams in the OAC when it comes around to OAC play.
Last thing I want to ask you is about BW specifically. Why is BW the right place for you to continue, not just as a coach, and continue your career, but why is it a good place for you to grow here as a person?
Yeah, so when I started looking at the position, I kind of noticed that everybody was pretty much successful, all the programs. So I felt like that kind of was an indicator that, you know, the support was here that was needed throughout meeting, you know, the interview and meeting with different people. And I was a grad assistant with Tom Heil, and he said great things about the program and how you could be here for life and do great things. And I think it was just the support that the school gives and that the community gives. When I came here and, you know, everybody's saying hi to you on your interview, and my first couple days here I've had multiple people from different parts of campus and stuff say hi and introduce themselves, and just that family atmosphere is really what drew me. The fact that we're 20 minutes from downtown Cleveland, and I think, like I said earlier, I want to prepare them to be better for their careers. How many internships can you get in
Sure.
downtown Cleveland, especially, you know, like those medical people with
Oh,
the
yeah.
Cleveland Clinic being 18 miles away, like,
Can't beat it.
I think it's just a great place to be able to draw really good talent.
We're super excited to see what you do with this program, and we certainly wish you the best. We'll cover you as much as we can along the way. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.